And our guy, our QB1, Bryce Young, who I'll say this, Bryce Young has more poise than, probably the rest of the league put together. And
I don't know if I'd say that yet. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has some poise.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes wishes he was as good as Bryce Young. But my point is,
why no one's going to watch this podcast when you make.
Let me tell you something. That's not the dumbest thing I've said on this podcast, so that should give you some indication. Yeah, I'm glad you agree with that one. But my point is that Bryce Young, the very first play, took a huge hit. Ike Kwanu had a very tough afternoon from the snaps I watched. The second year off left tackle, and that coupled with the fact that the Jets defensive line is about 25 guys deep and they are very, very good. But the very first play, you talk about quick throws, Bryce Young dropped back, looked to his right. I think looked to his left and came back to Thielen to his right. And it was on time. It's a play that you would expect him to make, but the point is he got smoked, hopped right back up, and continued to run the offense. Finished 4 of 6, only in for 2 series, 21 passing yards. And it didn't do anything to blow you away, but the timing was nice, the ability to get through the reads as when he had an opportunity to, because he had time back there. It was fun to watch. And I get the sense that this moment is not going to be too big for him. The struggles with not being on the best team for the first time in his career is not going to be too big for him. And I think it's an overall a positive.
Yeah, no, I thought, you can see that he has some command out there when he's on the field. You can see the calmness, even though he was getting tagged about every other.
He really was.
That one play that he threw one deep to the left. I can't remember who it was. I don't think it was the Chark, but it was a little out of bounds. He has to give the receiver an opportunity to make the play. The third down play when they were backed up.
With Laviska.
Yeah, Chenault ran a really bad route. He didn't stem back to the quarterback. He put it there and on time, and Chenault didn't get out of his break. So because he threw the ball with anticipation. So even though it looked like a rough performance from the offense, totally, it looked like the offensive line was like a sieve. But this kid hooked some hits and got right back up, bounced. But there's no question, I think, when he has the ability to have some time, that he's going to be a very productive quarterback in this league. The other thing is, you're right, he can get through his progressions, and he did a great job using his eyes to move the safeties on the back end. So you talked about looking to his left, throwing back to his right to Thielen. There are things that he did that a veteran does that a rookie normally doesn't do that showed up on the tape that you're not going to see in a stat sheet.
Yeah, and his second throw was to the right to DJ Chark on a comeback, and that was out on time, accurate on his face, and that's all you want to see. And by the way, I made a note here about Ike Ekwonu struggling, but also on the other side, Taylor Moton was playing the right tackle, and Cade Mays happened to be right guard at that moment, and your guy Jermaine Johnson ran a TE stunt with Quentin Jefferson, and Jermaine came free through the A gap and absolutely destroyed Bryce Young. I mean, he knocked him back what felt like 40 yards. I'm sure it felt that way to Bryce, but Bryce hopped back up. Great play by JJ, and that's good to see if you're a Jets fan coming into year 2 for him. But the offensive line has to be a real concern right now if you're Frank Reich.
Yeah, if you've seen how they performed in that first 2 series, but I think that let's temper the negativity and the positivity, and it's week 1 in the preseason.
All right, I don't know if I mentioned it. Speaking of tempering, I will temper nothing. Anthony Richardson, I gave a B+. I gave Bryce a B-. I thought he did pretty well with the hand he was dealt, and it certainly could have gone a lot worse for him. Didn't do anything spectacular, but really didn't have an opportunity to. So I was happy with the way he played.